Hello, welcome to the Underground Engineering Club, and today we're going to learn how to create a switch for your Sumobot on your Raspberry Pi. And what we're going to do is we are basically going to hook up a switch into your Raspberry Pi so that when you push it, when you push the button, it does something. And why you'll need this for the Sumobot is because your Sumobot won't always be on mode where it's looking around for the other Sumobot and wanting to push. You'll want to, when it starts up, be in standby mode. When you push the button, then it starts moving. So let's go ahead and get started. What I have here is, what I'm going to do is I have a switch, and what it's going to do when I push that button is I'm going to make a LED go from blinking light to a always on light. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the power rails to the breadboard. Now if you look at the diagram, you'll see that the power line is sometimes on the outside of the board, and up here it's on the inside of the board. So if you want to line it up just like the diagram is on, then you want to make sure that the power rail, the red rail, is on the outside. Okay, so let's see, I have my Raspberry Pi diagram here. I'm going to put my plus 5 volts right there. That's the number 2. And plug that into red. And I'm going to find a ground, which is pin number 6. And I'm going to stick that into ground. That part's easy. Okay. And then I'm going to check on my multimeter here how this switch works. And let's see if I can show the number here real quick. What I'll do is I will check for continuity, and when I put my leads to it, it should be open, and then when I push the button, oh, there it is, it's closed and open. Okay, so I know that these two leads close when I push the button. So I'm going to put that right here. And then what I want to do is I want 3.3 volts to go in one side, and that's pin number 1. And I'm using 3.3 volts instead of 5 volts because I don't want 5 volts to come back into my GPIO pin because they're rated for 3.3. So I'm doing that, and then on the other side, let's see here, on the other side I want it to, let's see what I have in my diagram. I am looking at pin number 33 is where I want it to come back. So it's kind of fourth from the bottom here, pin number 33, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why I stuck it in. But I don't want all the current to go back through into my Raspberry Pi. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 730k ohm resistor to ground, like so. And so we'll get very little current going through that switch, and we'll get the 3.3 volts. When I push this button, that pin will show a high of 3.3 volts. And then I want to make an LED work. So let's stick an LED in here. Remember the short side. The short side on this side goes to the ground because LEDs are diodes and they can only work in one direction. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to make it up here actually. Okay, and then I want, let's see, I want 5 volts, or I want a GPIO pin to control it, and I'm using pin number 37. So that's a second from the bottom here on the inside, and I'm going to make that go. I'm going to put a, let's move it over just a little bit over here, and I'm going to put a 220 ohm resistor between my GPIO and the LED. And if you have questions about that, you should look at the sections on LEDs. And then I want it to go to ground. So let's see. Where is my... Here we go. I want the other side to go to ground. Like that. Okay. So I have a GPIO going in on one side, on the plus side of the LED, with a 220 ohm resistor going through the LED and then coming into ground. So it's going to control that LED, either make it turn on all the time or make it blink. Okay, I think we are ready to power this guy up. And I guess I should have mentioned that when you are wiring or moving wires around, or anytime there's any risk where you can touch the pins together or there's anything going on, you just want to make sure your Raspberry Pi is off so that you don't short anything, and you don't want to lose your Raspberry Pi. I think I'm ready now, so I'm just going to plug this in. It's going to boot up, and then I'm going to go to my screen, and then we'll go from there.